Hello, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Uncommon Commentators, episode 73. I'm the boy Antoine Willis, and this is my co-host Garrett. Y'all already know what time it is. About to discuss some hoops. We appreciate y'all for joining us for a late night edition of the Uncommon Commentators. Had to watch the NFL draft for a little bit. I mean, this is a basketball podcast, but the Atlanta Falcons were under a lot of scrutiny last season, but we feel like they got it right with that pick out of Georgia, the linebacker Jalen Walker, I believe his name is. So, yeah, man. Before we even get to the hoops, how was your day, Garrett? And how do you feel about the Falcons pick, man? Before we dive into this basketball, man.
Yeah, today was good, man. I was looking forward for tonight's draft, and I was a little bit nervous because I was hoping that the general manager, Terry Fontenot, was going to get it right, and he did. I am very
Mm-hmm.
happy with Jalen Walker. We got an edge, so I'm very pleased. So I'm definitely going to sleep good tonight. So very well done. They got it right.
Nah, for sure. I agree with you. I'm happy for the Falcons. Obviously, they have their quarterback for the future, Michael Penix Jr., especially after the whole Kirk Cousins debacle. Near this, not debacle. I should say. I should use something a little more lighthearted. Really, just about like we all saw what happened with Kirk Cousins falling off a little bit near the second half of the season, unfortunately. And I think they finally got that young quarterback. Obviously, like I mentioned, the scrutiny the Falcons were under. But it turns out they made the right pick, just having that safety net in their back pocket with that young quarterback. I think Mike Penix about to turn 25 if he isn't already. So really happy to see what he's gonna do down here. Super excited for him. And yeah, man, like yo, shout out to Jalen Walker, the Georgia Bulldog. He's staying right at home. Happy to see him put the black and white on, man, most definitely. For sure. But go ahead and get to the hoops. Like I said, we got a cool show. But keeping it with Atlanta, I'm at the first topic, and this time, we actually can talk about it. Um, and not be biased. So yeah, so man, like obviously we know what happened with Landry Fields, the former general manager and head of basketball operations for the Atlanta Hawks. He was relieved of his duties on Monday morning. I believe it was April 21st. So first and foremost, I just want to give a shout out to Landry Fields. Like I get it, he's a millionaire, stuff like that, whatever, but I don't like to see anybody lose their job. Personally, like anyone go with that uncertainty of when your next paycheck is going to come, stuff like that. Obviously, he's a smart guy. I'm pretty sure he has, he's making investments throughout his career, being an NBA player and an executive for multiple franchises, the Spurs as well. But yeah, man, they let him go. Unfortunately, we know how the NBA climate has been lately, with these front offices having really short leashes. But Landry was with the franchise for 5 years, from 2020 to 2025. Of course, he spent his first 2 years as the assistant GM, and then became the head GM after Travis Slank had went upstairs, basically. And yeah, so for Landry, the Hawks finished their record with him as the head GM after 3 seasons. They were 117 to 129 after his tenure. But he made some good trades, in my opinion. But we can dig into that later. I did want to get your first reaction to the firing. I haven't got a chance to really talk to you since then. So how'd you feel about him getting fired? Were you shocked? Were you not surprised? Where were you when it happened? And how do you feel about it, man? He's actually gone. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I was just at my desk at work, and then I got a notification email from the team. What happened was I didn't quite read the entire statement of what took place. So I was
Right.
in the middle of doing something, but then I checked my phone again, and then I got an alert from Bleacher Report saying, "Hey, Hawks GM was fired." So I was like, "Whoa." I didn't even like this just came out of nowhere. So then I went back to the email and read some more, and then I saw where Landry Fields was relieved from his duties. But there's really a lot, and I'm going to try to keep it brief, but there's a lot to dissect with this move by Tony Wrestler because this was a move that was made by the ownership group. Um, to your point, you don't want to see nobody lose their job at any
Hmm.
given point, no matter what kind of field or industry that you're in. because it's very competitive out here. So you hate to see that. So
Yep.
I wish Landry nothing but the best, and I'm excited for his next chapter in his career. But at the end of the day, because for me this season, if Landry had kept his job, this season, or I should say this off season rather, was going to help me to determine as far as what kind of GM Landry Fields, truly was, and what direction the team was going to go this season because,
Mhm.
or for next season, because of the fact that you have two first round picks this off season.
Yep.
You have a lot of money to work with and cap space to improve the roster. So, and of course, you have other tools that you could use to improve the roster. So Landry pretty had a lot to, well, at least he was going to have a lot to work with this off season. So
Mhm.
to me, this off season was going to tell me everything that I needed to know, and and I was going to give Landry a little bit more time because of the fact that even though that he was one of the ones that influenced the DeJounte Murray trade from the Spurs, and of course, a lot of people have mixed feelings about that trade, but then he was able to kind of get the assets back that we gave up for DeJounte Murray, and also getting Dyson Daniels, who was a finalist for the Defensive Player of the Year, but we'll get into that later. So for me, it seemed like that he was slowly putting stuff together, but to me, it wasn't going as fast as I wanted it to because as a fan, diehard fan, you want to see this team win now. And then, of course, Trey, we know how he feels about the team. He wants to win now. And of course, the ownership group too. So it was kind of shocking that he got fired. Excuse me. It was
It's fine.
shocking, kind of shocking that he got fired, but at the same time, he is not because of the fact that Landry Fields, some people may forget that he was not a highly experienced general manager, or at least for his position. This was basically a first time thing for him.
Mhm.
So that's why I had mixed feelings about the hire myself. But now that they're moving into a different direction. Now, for those of you who want to get more updates consistently or weekly rather on NBA news, updates on trades or anything like that, make sure that you go follow the Mark Stein Substack. You can go to the Stein line on X and go to markstein.substack.com. So him and Jake Fisher, who is a another NBA insider who gets all information around the league. If you guys are trying to get updates on that, make sure that you go follow them on that platform. So this took place a couple of days ago, or yesterday rather.
Mhm.
So Jake Fisher, he reported that Tony Ressler, the Hawks owner, has indicated that he is willing to pay the going rate for a top tier and experienced lead decision maker to manage the Hawks' hopes for gradually taking their promising young core to legitimate Eastern Conference contention. So let me just stop right there. That to me now, and fans can say this as well. Now we know Tony, he's ever since he's taken over as the owner of the Hawks, we've heard him consistently say he wants to win now. He's willing to spend the money, things of that nature. But over time, we haven't been able to see that. So to me, based on how his approach was towards Landry Fields, firing, it seemed like he was willing to rip off the band-aid and say, "Hey, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. If I have to pay whatever amount to bring in a senior level executive to put this team in a position to win, then that's what he's going to do." That was said in the statement, not exactly like this, but it was
Mhm.
paraphrasing away. So to me, that makes me feel good. Now we're hoping that they will find their guy before the draft. So I'm hoping that they'll, get this done, pretty soon over the next few weeks. Now, Bob Myers, who is a former general manager for the Golden State Warriors. He was the same guy that drafted Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. That he built that dynasty. He was the same guy that won them 4 championships. So
Yep.
his name has been mentioned as a potential target in Atlanta as well. He also has worked closely with Anse Salah, who has now been promoted as the general manager for the Hawks when they were both in Golden State. Now, to me, this is a long shot for sure because I'm not anticipating Bob Myers to come to Atlanta. Now, anything could happen. We've seen Luka Doncic get traded out of nowhere, so anything could happen. But it seems like that he would prefer, or at least it is anticipated that he would prefer to stay on the West Coast. So we don't know what the chances are, but I'm not really thinking that he would, come here. But hey, at least they're thinking about, again, bringing in a top tier and elite executive. So even though the chances may be slim, but I do like how they're thinking, meaning the ownership groups, which is good. So yeah, so you could keep an eye on that as well. Also, you also keep an eye on the Timberwolves general manager Tim Connolly is a name to watch. Now, the only reason why he is a name to watch is because he does have a opt out option on his contract. But with the Timberwolves ownership group that's more solidified now, it is expected that they're going to give him a new contract. But again, anything can happen. We just have to wait and see. But I think overall, like I said, I think that where this team is right now, and knowing that, hey, it needs to be better if the Hawks are truly looking to become a championship caliber franchise, not just for a one off, but for years to come, then
Mhm.
that's the kind of, you know, uh, personnel that you have to have in your front office. So I think that if you're going after Tim Connolly and Bob Myers, hey, at least you're, putting yourself in the right direction. So, but it'll be very exciting to see who they'll bring. Well, of course, we don't know exactly who they're interviewing. We know Elton Brand is a name that's been thrown out there
Mhm.
with Philly. So, we'll see what happens on that end. But yeah, like I said, I do love what Tony is thinking right now. Like I say, he's willing to pay the money to bring in a top tier executive. That's the kind of personnel that we need. So I'm loving it. But like I said, I hate to see Landry, lose his job. Like I said, it's a cold business. But like I said, for the Hawks, if they're really investing on building a winning culture, this is the right move to go to. So let's see what happens next.
Yeah, man, I agree with everything with what you said. Especially with Tony Wrestler's comments. I think that really shows you he's taking this offseason very seriously. We know this is the second consecutive year the Hawks have missed the playoffs. I also think that translates to Quinn Snyder being in the hot seat too. I don't think they're gonna fire him this offseason. I think they'll give him another year, at least one
Yeah.
more year. I get it. There's other coaches out there. We just saw Mike Budenholzer get fired from the Suns. We saw Michael Malone get fired from the Denver Nuggets as well. I would like both of those coaches, especially the former Hawks coach, Mike Budenholzer, won Coach of the Year already when he was down here. So he had us winning 60 games. So I think he could, hopefully reinvigorate the Hawks again. But not keeping it realistic, I do think Quinn's going to stay. I don't think they're going to trade Trey either. I know that some people consider that as a possibility, seeing how they fired Landry so quickly. And obviously that showed, again, that Wrestler's taking this offseason very seriously. I just think he really wants to finally have his team be taken seriously. And that's no disrespect to Landry Fields. I thought he did a pretty solid job while he was here. He tried to salvage the season when they lost Jalen Johnson by trading DeAndre Hunter and getting George Niang, Terrence Mann, Karis LeVert, all of which are on team-friendly deals at that. In speaking of team-friendly deals, he even signed most of the current Hawks to team-friendly deals, including Vit Krejci, Onyeka Okongwu, and most recently, Jalen Johnson, of course, for his $150 million deal. on his way out the door. So he secured all these deals for the Hawks on the way out. And I was intrigued to see who he would have selected this summer, seeing how he selected Zachary Risachet last summer. And then it ended up being a pretty good pick for Atlanta. So I do think he'll get another job somewhere else. Maybe it's like another side executive just to try to prove himself again. Like I said, I think him losing his job was really more so about the Hawks being disappointed in their season. I think if they win that coin flip of a game versus the Miami Heat, I think Landry Field could possibly still be in his seat as GM. But it just shows you the difference that one overtime period can make. And I think that that was really the final straw for Tony Ressler, missing the playoffs, not having a playoff basketball game in Atlanta for the second year in a row. And I really think that really made him angry, seeing how most of the revenue, of course, is generated. Most playoff games do sell out, even if it's an eighth seed, because people just want to see playoff atmosphere type of basketball. So for what the Hawks are going to do right now, like I said, I think Landry's going to get another job, just moving on with Landry and what he's going to do from here. And with the Hawks, they have Onsi Saleh, so it's good to have another brain and just another way of thinking up in the front office. I think they're going to be a little bit more cutthroat in their approach. Like, we'll see if they pull the trigger on players earlier. I think they're going to keep all the cornerstones, including trade Dyson Daniels. They're definitely not going to trade Jalen. They're not going to trade Onyeka. I'd be pretty surprised if they let any of them go. Onyeka had a phenomenal performance in the play-in tournament. If that's the most you got to see him out of a postseason run, he looked great, especially in the game they got eliminated. So I think Onyeka, he's definitely trying his best, definitely maximizing his potential as a 6'9" center, to say the least. Jalen Johnson, we know what he's capable of. We know what he's going to do next season as well. We know with Dyson Daniels, he has to get paid. That has to happen next summer, and even then, this upcoming summer. Karis LeVert will be an unrestricted free agent. The Hawks have about $33 million in cap space. So the Cavs signed Karis LeVert on a $32 million deal worth $16 million. So the Hawks could thread that needle a little bit, or he could sign for a little bit more team friendly deal, maybe like a 14, maybe $28 million deal or something like that. But yeah, I think with the direction the Hawks are going right now, I do think I like it again with what you said, how the Bob Myers thing, it's pretty far fetched. That just shows they're swinging for the fences. Like I said, they're really, really serious this summer. They really want to finally have that voice that they can take into the future. And now that they see that they have this young budding talent finally down here, I think they want to have everything finally aligned, from the talent on the court to the talent in the front office as well. So I really think at this point right now, I do think the Hawks are going to walk away with at least a 4-star executive. It's hard to get one of those 5-star dudes. I think Joe Dumars, who we just saw get picked up by the Pelicans, I thought he was a pretty good GM. And of course, most notably, like everyone knows, like Garrett did say, Bob Myers is one of the best GMs literally out here right now. He just chooses to work the desk at ESPN, spit some basketball, not stay at home all day. But he could certainly take another job in a heartbeat. For certain, the 4-time NBA champion, and I believe 2-time executive of the year. So I'm excited to see what direction they do try to go. Just to end on the topic, I do think, like I said, they are going to walk away with a pretty good executive this year as the head basketball operations. I don't think they're going to replace Onsi. I do think they will give him a chance as the GM, especially seeing the environment he was in with all those high caliber executives in Golden State, just coming from a different environment. I think he'll offer a different outlook on the organization. So I am excited to see where they go from here. And like I said, on paper, the team is still really talented. I get it. They didn't make the playoffs. I feel like this year was really more so a developmental year, and they showed that, in my opinion. Trey led the league in assists. Dyson obviously is a most improved player candidate. Jalen Johnson was the most improved player candidate before he got injured. Risachet literally just got better and better and better month by month by month. Don't let those performances fool you. And we saw Onyeka finally become the starting center of the Atlanta Hawks this year. And throughout March onward, he was averaging like 15 points and 11 rebounds a game. And again, we saw what he did in the final game of the season for the Hawks versus the Heat. So On paper, the Hawks, they have a nice budding young core on top of their bench now with Karis LeVert, George Niang, and Terrence Mann. They're going to get Larry Nance Jr. back as well on that bench, a much needed piece for what they do. So I'm pretty intrigued to see where this team does go. I think Trey stays. I think Quinn stays. Um, Outside of that, all their other cornerstones, they're not going anywhere. So outside of that, I think the only other movement we'll see will be either on the bench or up in the front office again this offseason. So that's really it for the Hawks because obviously, they're in the offseason now. Won't really get much of a chance to talk about them unless they make a big trade or a big acquisition during free agency. So to list Landry, want to wish Landry Fields all the best in his next endeavors. It was a pleasure having him down here. Again, like I said, he gave us Zachary Risachet for the future. He extended Jalen Johnson for the future. He got us Dyson Daniels for the future. He tried his best, man. And we know that the Hawks don't like to spend a lot of money. So he literally tried the best with what he could with the little wiggle room that he had here and there. So I wish him nothing but the best. The former New York Knick and Toronto Raptor. And that's it, man. Like the Hogs, the Hogs. Unfortunately, they're going into the off season. I wish all the Hawks nothing but the best as they improve. Won't get a chance again to talk about them much as we move forward this summer. But again, like I said, it was a developmental year for the boys. Like I said, Trey led the league in assists, Dyson in steals. Even DeAndre Hunter was a 6 Man of the Year candidate before we let him go to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So even all the Hawks really were really showing their potential this year. And it just really hurt the team. It really hurt the season when they lost Jalen on January 23rd. So outside of that, they can just hope to get better. Trey said he wants to stay. They all said they want to stay in their interviews. Of course, words is one thing, actions are another, but I think they all like playing with each other. They all became stars in their roles down here, like Dyson rising in Atlanta and Onyeka finally becoming the starter and showing his value as well. So I keep seeing people on Twitter saying like Double O is a future Laker and stuff like that. I'm like, come on, I don't think he's going anywhere. And yeah, man, like again, shout out to the Hawks, love them boys, most definitely. But moving on to our second topic of the evening, it's pretty funny because we could still actually talk about the Hawks with the second one. The NBA awards just got announced, at least a few of them. We had the NBA Clutch Player of the Year award. That was Jalen Brunson of the New York Knicks. I thought he had a pretty great season as well. Of course, they are up 2-1 versus the Detroit Pistons right now. He's playing pretty good in that playoff series. He's averaging like 33 a game right now. He's looking pretty good. So, we know that Evan Mobley won Defensive Player of the Year. Our boy Dyson Daniels was literally the runner-up. No exaggeration. You could check the list and all the first place and third place, second place, third place votes, stuff like that. In the 6 Man of the Year as well, Peyton Pritchard of the Boston Celtics. Pretty sure he had like 43 off the bench at one point this year. So well deserved for him as well. They're the 2 seed. Up on the Orlando Magic right now. So, hey, it looks like that award was well deserved for Peyton Pritchard as well. So, what was your reaction to the rewards? And do you think somebody got snubbed? Do you think they were just right? What was your opinion on the NBA awards thus far?
Yeah, I think starting off with Jalen Brunson, I mean, I can't really be mad about it. He is a clutch player, and he's shown that really ever since he got to New York. So I can't be mad about it. Of course, I think our boy Trey got snubbed
Yep.
because from a statistical standpoint, I think that he made a very, very solid case to be named the clutch player of the year. But of
Mhm.
course, people have other thoughts and opinions on that. For Peyton Pritchard, I think I think they got it right on that one, given the fact that he was averaging 14, little over 14 points per game this season, and shooting 40% from three, averaging around seven attempts per game. So that's crazy. So I can't be mad about it because Peyton Pritchard, he is a guy that can light it up from three. So he's a guy that can really bring a spark off the bench for sure. Of course, it seemed like DeAndre Hunter. I wouldn't say solidified, but I would say early this season it seemed like that he was the leading candidate. But like I said, Peyton Pritchard, I really do love his game, and like I said, he can really shoot it. So not mad about that. But of course, I was hoping that Dyson was going to get it, tonight. But of course, they gave it to Evan Mobley, and Dyson once said before that really typically the Defensive Player of the Year award is a big man's
Big man.
award. I was hoping that Dyson was going to make history, and as I said it last week, getting a chance to meet him the first time, and like I said, I told him that I hope he was going to win the awards, but like I said, regardless that even he didn't win, um, he led the NBA in total steals, so 229.
Mhm.
That's most since 1996. That's the year that I was born. He averaged a little over 3 steals per game. That's the most since 1991. And he had a total of 284 stocks, and that's the first guard to lead the league since 1988 when Michael Jordan won Defensive Player of the Year. So those are stats that you just can't ignore. And for that to come from a guard, that's very, very remarkable. So, like I said, regardless if he was going to win or not, his defensive prowess, couldn't go unheard, and the people around the league, notice his game has elevated. I'm highly confident that he will win Most Improved Player. I know Kate Cunningham has been in the running for a minute, but I think just the fact that Dyson Daniels' game has improved so much this season on both ends of the floor, of course, his defensive ability is the silver lining, but no, but Evan Mobley, like I said, he's made a tremendous impact for the Cleveland Cavaliers this year. If I'm not mistaken, they're ranked eighth in defensive rating. So, of course, they have the Twin Towers with him and Jared Allen. So, but Evan Mobley, he's improved his game a lot. And like I said, his defensive ability to guard multiple positions and protect the paint,
Mhm.
I think they got it right. But yeah, so I would say all picks are pretty fair. So ain't nothing wrong about it.
No, I agree, man. I thought Evan Mobley played really good this year as well. He was the first ever Cleveland Cavalier to ever win the award. At 23 years old, that's really substantial. So, I think he's only going to continue to be better as the years go on. And like I said, at 23 years old, I do think he at one point will become like the franchise centerpiece. Like as Donovan continues to get older, stuff like that, we will see like the role, like just eventually just turn to Evan Mobley, and I think he will become the face of the franchise and lead that franchise for a real long time. Like I say, he's only 23, so I think by the time he's 30, he's just gonna be like he could be like a 2-time, 3-time defensive player of the year. It's pretty crazy. I do think that Victor Wembanyama was really, 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 really looking good at the beginning of the season before he, of course, had to stopped playing because of a blood clot in his shoulder, unfortunately. Again, he was averaging like 3.8 blocks a game, and it's only like his second year. He was already hitting that next stride. And again, I do agree with Dice when he says it's a big man award. That's really the biggest. I'm like it's obviously like the biggest priority for a big man to guard the hole. But it's a luxury when you have a guard on the perimeter who can really get in the passing lanes like that, really disrupt, have game winning steals, like game winning deflections like that. And like even to lead the league in deflections as well really shows you all those deflections that could have also been steals. He could have had even more steals if he would have actually got his hand on the ball that night. And for him to be 22 years old, that's not talked about enough. Both these dudes are super young to be this good defensively like that, to be able to go out there and guard. Of course, 22, you're an adult, but you're 22 guarding 31-year-olds, 32-year-olds who are already built in their primes and stuff. and like to be able to really do that good against some of the highest level players in the league, it's a blessing for the Hawks to really have a player of this magnitude, and it was super unexpected. Absolutely, you know, especially because he was a point guard originally. He was a point guard originally when he came over, and many people were curious about how he was going to play the shooting guard position. But he's done it really well, honestly. Also, got to give a lot to Draymond Green as well. He was the third ranked Defensive Player of the Year candidate. I thought he looked good as well. Obviously, we saw how Golden State turned their season around. The fact Draymond's even still in the running right now at his age shows you how good of a role, not even a role player, you know, how good of a piece of the pie that he still is for the Golden State Warriors. And like
Hold up, dog. I don't mean to Kanye you real quick.
No, you're fine. Go
Y'all,
ahead.
y'all not mad enough about Dyson Daniels getting shafted with this defensive player of the year. Ain't no fucking way you gonna sit here and tell me that a dude that set a single season record in steals is not the defensive player of the year. I get Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley got this award because he was a part of a good team that as a whole when it came to a defensive team, um let me see here. Team defense, Cavaliers finished second best. They finished with the second best record and ranked among the league's top three in opponent field goal percentage at 45.4%. That's all fine and dandy, but also that's from a team standpoint. From an individual standpoint, is he in the top? Is he in the top five in any of the defensive, like when it comes to a defensive from the defensive stat wise? Is he in the top five or top 10? Well, I'll say top five. I'm not gonna say top 10 because that's too much. Because I feel like you should be top five, top three in these categories when it comes to defense. So again, for somebody who just set a season single record in steals, to not win defensive player defensive player of the year is fucking mind boggling. And for me, y'all ain't mad enough as Atlanta Hawks fans.
I
Not mad
guess
enough for me.
I guess I'm not mad enough because like I said, of course I'm rooting for him to win,
Of
but at the
course.
same time, just again, because I said this, multiple times, like we know when it comes to the politics and we know how this all works when it comes to these
Hey,
kind of awards, because I mean
You're killing me with that
it's
word. Yeah.
literally it's literally like a broken record. So
hey, you giving
it,
me the
like
you giving me a
like I said,
diplomatic answer here. I
I'm
need
just being real. We all know that the Defense Player of the Year is a big man's award,
I
and
need y'all to lean into this.
you rarely see guards get this award. I think
Exactly.
it's only Marcus Smart, and I think Gary Payton.
Look,
Anybody
exactly. This
else
is why I
has
need
always
y'all
been a
to
big
lean.
man.
I need y'all to lean into the homer of this because
You
again,
know.
ain't no. I'm like this dude. Ain't no fucking way,
Hey,
boy. Ain't no fucking way.
I'm on your side, okay?
No,
Because
I'm already.
you don't know how many times I have argued with Hawks fans, literally, that thinks, oh, he's not going to get it because of X, Y, Z, and I'm literally showing you what the man has done
Exactly.
all year. So trust me. I am upset, but like I said, at the same time, I'm not upset because I'm not surprised that the league didn't give it to him.
Hey,
But
all I'm saying, hey, all I'm saying is lean into the homerism in this because again, this is what our
look, he
platform is for.
look
Lean into that homerism.
look. But for now, for the most part, the thing that I have to defend on Dyson
Mhm.
against other fans is that a lot is that at least some I know one fan has stated multiple times that he's not an elite defender. So all I know is that he's going to make first team all defense. I know that for a fact, and that will solidify my case. So as long as he
Right.
does he gets that, I'm good. And like I said to Antoine, I think that he will win Most Improved Player. So for him to get that award and named First Team All Defense, that's still a big win for me. So I can't be mad
I
at
just
it.
wanted to get on here and, like I said, I wanted y'all to lean into the favoritism of your squad and
Crazy work.
hey, I'm just saying, lean
It's crazy
into
work.
it.
No, of
It's
course,
crazy work.
man. Like I'm never one to like take moral victories or anything like that or nothing of that nature. Like it's like for me personally, I mean, he finished second place, man. It was like, yo, he had 197 votes to
Yeah.
285. You feel me? And I mean, like either way. I mean, like it's for me, it's about like at least he gained the respect this season. Like Garrett's right, he will most certainly be an all defensive first team guard this year. I'd be shocked if he didn't make the odd. That'd be like, okay, it's already a snub. I can't act like it's not. But that would be blatantly disrespectful if he didn't. That would be politics for certain, as Garrett says. That would be 100, 1,000, 1,000,000% politics if he somehow didn't make the all defensive first team or something like that. Like they'd replace him with an all star who happens to play good D or something like that. But nah, I think he's locked it up at this point. And it's pretty cool because he literally said that was his goal at the beginning of the season back in September 2024. So like I'm really happy for him. It's really have came on the scene this year and really gained the respect, like I said. And yeah, man, again, like for guards, like, cause I feel like it depends on people look at it. It's like it's like when you block shots, that stops shot. That'll stop a shot attempt. When you get a steal, that can stop a whole possession. So it really does depend how you look at it. I feel, and what you think is more important, stopping a shot or stopping the possession, so and we saw him, he was racking up steals at a ridiculous rate. He'd get like 8 in a game, 6, 7 in a game. Like he really and he really do it live on the court. He'd come up like from behind a defender, get the ball, scoop it up. It should be truly remarkable to hear about him after acquiring him and then seeing it come to life like that on the court. And it's crazy because he was traded for DeJounte Murray, who wore number 5. Dyson comes over, he puts on number 5. Then he comes out here at the same position, at the shooting guard position, and like just completely changed. I mean, he's like he has 2 inches on. He's 2 inches taller than DeJounte. Obviously, he's a better defender. Hunter was a good defender back in San Antonio. I think just being in the Hawks system, his defense took a hit. And I think Dyson just like I don't think it's not. It was the opposite with Dyson. Like it really improved the entire team's defense as a whole. To seeing them I can imagine having that guy on you in practice sucks, So most definitely it inspired all of them to play better defense. Even Bogdanovich also said that on record before he got traded. Of course, Dyson Daniels was a major reason why they improved their defense this year. And yeah, man, like I said, previous topic, shout out to Landry for even pulling that off. If the Pelicans knew they would have not let him go if they knew he was like this. He was good coming out of G League night in Australia. He was the 8th pick in the draft, and he's gone on to really live up to his potential. And I know, still keeping it with the topic at hand. They haven't announced the most improved player yet, but I think even right now he's the minus betting favorite. So it is cool to see him actually come out here and definitely announce himself to the league. He is a Hawk. He's going to stay a Hawk for a long time. They're not going to let him go. And at this point, man, like they just got to stay healthy. Like this team, for them to succeed, like they need all their pieces healthy, man. Like Mohamed Gay, at least he got the, to adjust and be in the starting lineup at the power forward position. We saw he could just, spread the floor at the NBA level now after spending time in College Park. So, and they got the shooting guard for the future. I'm happy. It's just funny because, you have a 6'1" point guard and a 6'7" shooting guard. It's just like it's a real unique backcourt. And I really like that a lot, especially how both of them led the league in categories this year, right down here in Atlanta, Georgia. So, yeah, I mean, either way, it's looking up for the Hawks, regardless of the play-in exit. They just have a lot of budding talent. Only biased fools would disagree with that, in my opinion. These dudes are leading the league in actual categories, league-wide, not just, breaking Atlanta Hawks records. They're actually breaking NBA records. So I'm excited to see where this Hawks team goes, especially with new leadership now in the front office. And they're serious about this. We'll see how they look come September. We'll see if they make any moves and all that kind of stuff. But keeping with the awards, even before we move on to our third topic, they haven't announced the MVP yet. Of course, that's still between SGA and Nikola Jokic. Jokic continues to play great. He's been playing phenomenal. Against the Clippers, he's been playing great. Now, don't get me wrong. That series has probably been the best one out of the entire first round, in my opinion. Just seeing how these games keep going down to the wire over and over, and all the future Hall of Famers on the floor as well. Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook, Nikola Jokic, like all James Harden, all these future Hall of Famers still going at it. Like it's really cool to see them, still performing at a high level. And yeah, man, either way, the MVP, six man is done. Kia, clutch player is done. Defensive player of the year is done. So that's really the only really big one dude's really waiting on is that most valuable player. And like I said, if I had to give my pick for it, I would pick Nikola Jokic to win the award. He was the first ever big man to ever average triple-double on a season. And I think he's going to continue to average triple-doubles at least the next 2 years. I'd be shocked if he just didn't average 10 assists next season. So, again, it's the last take on the awards. Yeah, man, how'd you feel about him? If you had to give your pick, your prediction for the most valuable player before we move on, who would that be?
Yeah, my pick is always going to be Jokic. It's always going to be Jokic. But if I had to give a secondary, it would have to go to SGA, and I think that's a clear favorite. I don't think mentioning a third candidate is worth it at this point because this one is a 2-man race for sure. So it's definitely going to come down to either SGA or Jokic. But yeah, of course I had to give it to my man Jokic. So hope he wins it. But if not, I understand because SGA he's made a great he's been great all season and he's been great ever since he got to OKC. So you can't go wrong with either or. So it'd be fair game.
Mm-hmm. It would be his first MVP at 26 years old. Really young. I think one of the more younger MVPs in recent memory. Most definitely. Like most of the last, I mean, well, it was Nikola and Joel. I'm really thinking, yeah, man, he'd be one of the more younger MVPs we've had in recent memory for certain. Most definitely. So I wouldn't be surprised. Also, if his teammate Chet Holmgren 1 year, because they're going to stay at the top of the West for a long ass time. So I wouldn't be surprised if Chet himself were to take home a Defensive Player of the Year himself or an MVP. And even talking about Chet and all them boys, we can go ahead and move on to our last topic of the evening. The NBA playoffs are in full swing. Obviously, for all of you bettors out there using DraftKings, FanDuel, Sportsbooks, all that stuff. Hope y'all are out there making money on them prize picks, on them betting odds, on them props. Because we've had some pretty crazy games go down to the wire, like I said. Just having a broad discussion about the first round of the playoffs. I kind of want to get your take first. Out of all the series you've seen, which one would you say is your favorite thus far?
Ooh,
I know
really? I mean,
it's hard.
Yeah, because of the fact that the only one that I probably say would be the Warriors and the Rockets series. Now, only reason why I say that is because I feel like that's the one that would give the most. Well, yeah, it would be that series, and then the Lakers and the Timberwolves series. I think those are the two most competitive series we're seeing thus far because when you look at the other series like Miami versus Cleveland and Boston versus Orlando, you're expecting. I mean, you're clearly expecting Boston and Cleveland to come out of the first round against those matchups there. Of course, with the Knicks, that could be interesting because New York they just won today, 118 to 116, so they lead 2-1. Right now, the Clippers are blowing out the Nuggets. That series is tied 1-1, but it looks like the Clippers, if they hold on to this lead, it'll be they have a 2-1 lead. And then Memphis, they're also blowing out OKC. And OKC has a 2-0 lead, so that probably will go to 2-1. So yeah, so I think the Warriors and the Rockets series and the Lakers versus Timberwolves series are interesting now. Um, so we just have to see how it all goes down, and I'm hoping that uh, we could see a couple series that go to 7 games. That's the kind of competitiveness that I would like to see. Now, unfortunately, that Jimmy Butler, he was diagnosed with a deep, muscle contusion. So his stats for Game 3 is, very questionable. He could very well miss out on that. But the best case, for him, is that he avoided any fracture or structural damage, so which is good. But like I said, of course, you want to see all guys be healthy into the
Mhm.
playoffs. Um, so with that being the case, this could very much turn into Houston's favor, since we all know what the real status is for Jimmy Butler. But like I said, I think the Lakers and the Timberwolves series is going to be quite interesting, because because the series is tied and Minnesota has given the Lakers some issues. So now they're heading back home. At least they got one in a row. So now they're going back home for the next 2 games. So we'll see. This is a series that could definitely go 7 games, but we'll see. I know some people thought that the Lakers were going to come in and just beat the Timberwolves by storm, but
Mhm.
obviously not. They are giving them some trouble, and even head coach of the Lakers, JJ Redick, even pointed out before the playoffs that, hey, the Timberwolves are a team that gives you issues, and gives you some problems and things to really think about. So, but like I said, for the Wolves to get at least one on the road and then come back home to play for the next 2 games. I mean, hey, we'll see what all goes down. But yeah, thus far, those are the 2 series that are most interesting. So I think it'll only get interesting, in the second round, and then of course to the conference finals. So, but we still have ways to go before we get there. So, but for right now, those are two. That's most interesting.
Yeah, man. Yo, great picks as always, bro. Like, yo, it's been honestly the same shit for me. Like, dude, like it's pretty crazy. Because this past NBA playoff opening weekend was the most watched one in like the last 25 years. Via NBA PR, citing my source, of course, and dude, it's crazy because like seeing all these games go down to the wire, like everyone's always talking about, oh, the refs is betting stuff like that. Blowing favorable whistles, stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, like yeah, superstars get calls, home teams get calls for certain. But I think that all these games that have gone
The
down to the
refs have
wire.
been trash.
Hmm.
The refs have been trash in
Okay, like, for sure, like
all of these series.
I.
The refs are going to be the refs. You know what the refs are going to do. So that's expected. So
But it's
it
like for
happens
me,
every year.
Now this is a little bit more than expected. A lot of this is unexpected from a sense of like it's just blatant shit they're not even calling. It's like really like if I can see this at home, you should be seeing that on the floor.
I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, when do we ever not see that every year? There's always like a certain point in every season, regular season, and the playoffs, where just like the players right there, like as you described, and it's just like come on now, like you're not going to call that. So, I mean, that's the norm. But I mean, hey,
I
it
mean,
is what
yeah.
it is.
Like for real. Plus, it's playoff basketball. That they're bound to be more aggressive. It's inevitable that they're gonna have some clashing, some crashes on the floor. You feel me? Like for me, like I was saying, like I really think like with these certain particular matchups, it's really brought out the best in the players in particular. Even having like Cade Cunningham versus Jalen Brunson in the first round, having that star, that superstar point guard matchup is incredible to see. Especially seeing how they got Jalen Duren versus Cat down low. it's just a really compelling series in my opinion. And like we just saw, this last game was literally decided by one possession. You know, it was 118-116 in favor of New York. So and even in like the Lakers series, they got destroyed in game 1 and they came out in game 2 and just like put like a beating on Minnesota. So it's cool to see like, you know, Luka and Anthony actually go back and forth, and like actually, you know, like the Rudy stuff's actually coming into play and stuff. And yeah, and even then, because the winner of the Lakers Timberwolves faces the winner of the Warriors and the Rockets series. So I know you just mentioned that Jimmy Butler's out. That's devastating for the
Yeah, that's
Warriors,
a massive blow.
given what he brings to the team on both sides of the floor, especially in the playmaking aspect. I think he's underrated as a point forward, absolutely. And yeah, man, it's you know, Houston on the perimeter, especially how aggressive Jalen Green was last game. I think it's gonna be really hard for Golden State to try to match that athleticism. And we saw, man, like they had damn near figured him out. Like in one game, they looked great out there at Houston. Like they look like the real number 2 seed alongside Oklahoma out there. They really did look phenomenal. And like I said, you know, even then I was gonna mention that it was shocking with me when I checked the score just now and I saw Memphis blowing out Oklahoma. I'm like, okay, like, you know, like it's cool to see, because you know, obviously people were on John Morant. He was laughing on the bench when they were getting blown out. I mean, the score was like, it was like 99-48.
They were getting blown out by almost what,
like
60?
50 points. It was outrageous. It was truly like a ridiculous score. And that's why at that point all you can do is laugh.
Yeah, that was really that was really an embarrassment, because I'm just like, yo, like I know OKC is the favorite, I get it, but I mean,
It's
y'all not showing any pride or anything. Like y'all treating it like it's a preseason game or something. So, but
I
I mean, Ja, I mean, he did keep his promise. He said that's the
yeah.
last time they're going to play like that, and they're playing like that right now. So they're giving OKC, you know, a return for a favor. But yeah, but still, that game was, you know, embarrassing. So I mean, crazy work.
Of course, and when I say all you can do is laugh, is like I can only imagine what he was saying on the bit. Like, nah, we going. It's like it's me. You gotta
I
realize
think he was laughing because of the fact like they were like really getting blown out, like out of the water. Like
like because
the
he's like,
game was
bro, like
already over by in the second quarter. So
for
it's
real.
just like it was so bad, like all you could do is just laugh. Like that's how bad it was. So
Because for me, it was kind of like a high school game type of situation. He's like, he's talking to his players, like, nah, bro, like, we gonna catch these next game, bro. Nah, like, yo, nah, I'm not even tripping. We gonna catch him next game, bro. Like, I'm not. That's all I got. That's all you can say on the bitch. Cause it's
man
just
said a
like,
high
man,
school game. I mean, that's really the best way to describe it. Because I mean, in high school, I mean, you see these type of stuff happen like frequently.
all the
So yeah,
time, man. It's like,
yeah,
nah,
yeah,
yo, we gonna catch these dudes next game, bro. I'm not tripping, bro. That's all.
yeah.
It just immediately seemed like high school basketball, and I saw that. And yeah, man. Either way,
Wow.
like how you said, he did indeed deliver on his promise. They're looking great versus Oklahoma. Hopefully, it's not a 3-1 situation, or where they come out in the second game and look flat. That first game back at home always gives you a jolt of energy, having that second life left. So it's not too much pressure. I can lose this game still, you know, come back 3-0 if possible, you know. But they're doing what they're supposed to right now, defending home court. So they are making it a series thus far. Now, of course, I'm pretty sure Oklahoma is going to come out with some devastating adjustments for game 4. I'm not gonna lie, it's not going to be easy to beat them coming off a loss like that, because they know what their expectations are this year. They want to go, because they could have did it last year when they were like the 2 seed last year. It's like it was like the top 3 seeds all tied between like Denver and like Oklahoma, and like it was crazy. So for this year, I think Oklahoma knows what they need to do. And I would love to see Oklahoma versus Houston, like the blue versus the red, and like it would, like, that would just be really, really cool to see. Especially with 2 passionate fan bases like that. You know, Houston hasn't been this good in a while. They went from being like a lottery team, drafting Reed Shepard, to being the number 2 seed in like the span of an off season. So I think all of the playoff series have been incredible. In my opinion, I have enjoyed them. Of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers are beating the Heat. They're up 2-0. The Celtics are up 2-0 on the Magic. The Grizzlies, again, they're leading 84-68 as we speak. The Nuggets and Clippers, that has been the most entertaining series to me by far. That's been like cinema. That's been like a literal movie. Again, given all the Hall of Famers involved with like James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard, Nikola Jokic, like just all like it's just like I love seeing legacies be on the line like that. Because one of those all-time greats is gonna get knocked out in the first round at that. So it's just really cool to see them have to play for that legacy spot. And it's just been a really, really good series, But of course, Clippers are up right now by 18, 65-47 at halftime. But we know what Denver can do, of course. And like I said, outside of that, the biggest surprise to me is definitely the Pacers being up on the Bucks 2-0. They're looking pretty good. Halliburton's having a great postseason run thus far. We know we know the Bucks finally just got Damian back after that the blood clot in his calf. It was a remarkable, historic recovery for the future Hall of Fame point guard. So I'm really happy to see that roster, that series be at full potential. And outside of that, like that's what I was saying. Like the best series for me has been the Nuggets versus the Clippers. I think that might go 7 games depending on what happens next game. Like I said, the Clippers are up right now. But I think that Denver can make some good adjustments. Just with Denver, like firing their head coach, they're putting a lot on David Adelman at the later half of the season. So outside of that, man, like I do think these playoffs have been amazing thus far. Like I mentioned before, I even started giving my takes. It was the most viewed opening weekend in the last 25 years. So that shows you how hungry people were for playoff basketball. It's crazy this season when it really went by that fast. It's pretty remarkable. And yeah, I mean, it's here. The first round goes by pretty quick. The bad teams get booted out really quick for the most part, unless of course they make tickets 6-7 games. And then most people start watching around the semifinals because now we know the good teams are really going to start really weeding each other out. And then you got the conference finals. So, of course, can't wait to cover that. And you guys will catch us here covering every single one in them series. Absolutely. But yeah, even just giving my closing thoughts on it. Of course, I was about to ask the boy Wiley what he thought about this playoff series as well. Of course, like we always mention, most definitely he's seen more basketball than me and Garrett have combined. Just having the years on us being a blessing, being able to live this long and
He's
watch
been on this earth a long, long, long,
watch it
long
basketball.
time.
Seriously, got to see Jordan and LeBron. You feel me? So, yeah, man. Which playoff series has been your favorite? And why? You feel me?
When I get to Atlanta, when I get to Atlanta, it's gonna be some furniture movie, y'all. That's all I gotta say.
I ain't talking about the merger or nothing like that. It's not like you're watching the ABA or like, I ain't say Dr. J or Larry Bird or nothing like that. No, I ain't see George Gervin.
Man.
Oh man. Look, you giving the Pacers a lot of credit. I mean, they won at home. They did what they were supposed to do. Of course, let's see what they do when they get to Milwaukee.
The Pfizer.
Although Milwaukee has looked up and down all season. So who knows what Milwaukee team will get. Hopefully they play a little bit more inspired than they have here in the last month or so. And they're able to make this a series going back to Indiana. I like Pistons Knicks, and that's just more for on the Pistons front. With them, a lot of first timers being in the playoffs, period, and it's actually turning out to be a good matchup. So, I'm interested in that one. Definitely didn't see the T-Wolves doing what they did in game one. I thought they had a chance to win, but not in that type of
No,
fashion.
he's not.
But when you kind of break it down a little bit, they so they're able to defend well with or without Rudy Gobert in the lineup. So if the Lakers try and go small, well, guess what? We can adjust our lineup. We can take Rudy out and still defend, and we're not worried about your bigs because you don't have a big that scare us. You have a rim runner in Jackson Hayes, but
He's
that's the long and the short of it. So we can defend. We actually have uh we have a long team, especially when you have Nas Reed out there. So we have enough length to defend on defense from the perimeter to the paint. So that's what's going to make Lakers T Wolves a little interesting. They're headed to Minnesota, so we'll see what happens there. Golden State, Golden State Rockets. That's part of the shit that I've been talking when I was talking about the refs. Ref ain't got not nan damn call, and they grabbing him. They grabbing him by his waist, bear hugging him in front of the ref, and they just
It's
eating the
playoff
fucking whistle.
basketball, bro.
That's what I'm
It's playoff
talking. Come
Hey,
basketball.
on, man.
it's one
That's
thing for
playoff
play. Hold on,
basketball, bro.
it's one
You know,
thing for
I mean,
playoff
Wiley.
basketball.
Don't get me wrong. We know that you still have to officiate. But when it comes to the playoffs, the refs, they're gonna let these guys play. So I'm just saying, like, they're not gonna
Hey,
call,
all I
as much as they used to, in the
hey,
regular season.
they better keep that
Just a
same
reminder.
energy. They better keep that same energy in Golden State when Draymond start chopping motherfuckers in the throat. That's all I'm saying.
Now Draymond, he
Keep
be
that same
trying to like,
keep that same
no,
energy.
that's like,
Keep,
that's
I
literally
mean,
domestic violence. I mean,
hell, you
stomping
got
on
You
people's
got Dylan
chests
Brooks on the other
and
side. So I mean,
throwing
shit,
punches. I mean,
you
I'm
got
just,
Dylan Brooks on the other side.
yeah, yeah,
but keep that same energy if the Warriors decide to turn the other cheek and start getting a little physical they damn selves.
yep.
Um, what was the matchup? A lot of these other matchups, Thunder, Grizzlies. I mean, it's been
It
two.
has potential. It has potential, in my
Yeah,
opinion. Because
the
like
Grizzlies aren't as good as people think they are, and the Thunder made sure that we saw that. But again, you're playing at home. That has to travel on the road. And as we're seeing right now, I mean, they still have a chance to come back because this is the fucking NBA. No lead is safe, regardless of how many points you're up, unless you're up by 50. Um, so if if the Grizzlies win, okay, cool. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're protecting home court. But if the Thunder finally wake up and play like they've played these first two games, yeah, they about to pack the Grizzlies on up out of here. Um,
Yeah.
Nuggets Clippers. I like that series just on the front of we have a healthy Kawhi, and we're seeing what Kawhi has been able to do when his knees aren't turning into roast beef. Um, and you got James Harden just kind of sitting in the weeds, kind of doing his own thing. But and then Zubac he's been
great,
he's been hooping all
great.
season long.
All year, Ben. All
And
year.
then of course I there's really nothing to say about the Nuggets. We know what we have over there. Shout out to Russ coming up big in game one. Like damn near it was like a good Russ, bad Russ, good Russ in game one. So, but you live with that. Like I still, he's one of those players. Like you know what, I will have him on my team because I know what I'm gonna get out of him. I know he gonna hustle. He gonna do the dirty work from a guard standpoint that most
Mhm.
guards ain't trying to do. Um, Who else did I cover them all? Anybody? Any series I'm missing?
Nah,
Oh yeah,
man.
Celtics, Magic.
Magic.
I'm with the Celtics. To be
The
honest,
Magic may get
they
like
may
One.
probably
yeah they
may get
might
like
get
one game,
one.
and that's only because Jason Tatum and Drew Holiday they're expected to be out in
Yeah,
Game 3. But yeah, we know
yeah
Boston they got
they
this one.
might get one, and
Yeah,
even for the Celtics to be able to blow them out in game 2
yeah.
without Jason Tatum, like that shows you the type of team that the Celtics are. Like they're a well-oiled machine, and they're looking to repeat. So
Defending champions. Yeah, man.
yeah,
People
they're
be
looking to repeat.
sleep. They're talking about the Cavs all year. Like they're the champions, man. So you can
That's
tell they
why,
feel
and
disrespected.
that's why I told y'all in earlier episodes. Yeah, hey, the Cavs got to prove it. Having the best record in the league that briefs well, but you got to prove that shit in the playoffs. And
Yeah.
we've seen the Cavs in the playoffs after LeBron. It ain't been good. So again, they gotta. Hey, kudos to y'all for having the second best record in the league, but now you have to. You got to go in and improve your worth in the playoffs.
Mhm.
So can you? First of all, can you make it to the Eastern Conference Finals? And then if you do, can you knock off the reigning champs if they make it? Good luck. Good luck.
That's the series everybody wants. They want us because,
Well,
like,
yeah,
man,
of course we want that series. Um, hopefully health is not a determining factor of that, but
mhm.
we'll see. Yeah, I think we've covered everybody from that point.
Okay, yeah, because you can't forget, man. Like, I'm pretty sure there was one game where like the Celtics were up like 29-3 on the
Mhm.
Cavaliers at one point, and they came back.
Well, also that's also Celtics basketball. Celtics can be up 30 and lose by fucking 10.
Like
So
I mean, you had Jason Tatum talking shit. And now, don't get me wrong, like you, of course, he'll talk shit, like on the court in a
I like to
heartbeat.
say
But
about
it's
shit.
rare you see Tatum really show his ego like that on the floor. And he was like, "Nah,
No,
man, we
talk
up
that talk.
27. I mean, come on, man."
But again, he's talking shit and it's mad early in the game. Yeah, that's cool. But also, you got to put your keep that foot on their throat when you doing that. And we know the Celtics will definitely take their foot off the gas when they're up big and they go from playing to win to playing not to lose. And that's
You
how
don't
they
want to
end up
do that
losing.
against
Yeah,
this Cavs
like
team.
man, to hell
Not with
with
this
any
team.
team at this point, like you kick them in their damn teeth.
Yeah, you do.
You kick them in their teeth, and then you fucking stomp on their damn face afterwards just to make sure that it's all said and done. Like
Yeah.
I do not know why teams do hell even in football. I do not know why teams do that. Yeah, you want to the whole the whole I guess I don't want to say code of conduct. The unwritten rules. There we go. I get the unwritten rules, but also fuck them unwritten rules. At this point, it's no holds barred. I want to embarrass you. I want to fully embarrass you to let you know, hey, you're not worthy of being on this court.
And see, like that's the thing too. Like even as the show's about to come to an end, like um, that's my favorite part about playoff basketball. Is like, 'cause I mentioned the Luca and Anthony thing. Like people gotta realize, like I see them as kids out there, like talking trash on like a rec playground, like, but they're grown men now, and they're literally like the best basketball players in the world. You from Anthony Edwards to be from his perspective, like you coming out of Atlanta, okay, it's a black state. Let's be real about it. There's a lot of basketball players down here. Dwight Howard's from Atlanta, Georgia, all that kind of stuff, whatever. But you embark on a journey. You have no idea the journey you're really about to embark on when you realize how good you really are, where you can go Division 1, get drafted #1 overall. Now you're a superstar. Now you're playing another dude from Slovenia, like across the world. Like, it's just like how crazy how their paths really cross like that. And it's only crazy because they're both future Hall of Famers and stuff like that. Really seeing like that really happened on the world stage, but like it's not because yeah, you get paid, yeah, you go home, you kick your feet up, you go on vacation, but it's when these dudes go home and they've really got in the back of their mind, I'm better than you. Like they don't like that. Like when you're really facing, it was like the whole Devin Booker and Luka Doncic thing. That looks funny when he's smiling in his face like that, but when he's really about to send you, because when you watch that game, they destroyed them. The Phoenix Suns that games.
Give it to Devin Booker every game they play. I don't know. I mean, it's like he has a switch for Devin Booker, and he flipped that switch when it's time to play, and he give Devin Booker that work every time. Don't matter. And Devin Booker could have the game of his life, and guess what? Luka right there.
And like that's the thing. I see them as like as if they were like if Devin's in high school and like Luka's like high school from like Slovenia, like they played it. I see them as like kids out there because it's a game at the end of the day. You know, you're still just playing. There's kids out there playing basketball right now for free. You feel me? So that's when you add the millions of dollars. Now it's $1 million effort on the floor, crashing, playing defense, you know, competitiveness. Then like some are already rich. They don't care about the money no more. Now I want to know like, I'm better than the best basketball players on the planet. That's what I want to know. And it's those dudes, like, that's what makes it cool. Because now you're seeing this tug of war on the world stage like that. When you have these young dudes really going. Because it's like Anthony, like, it's so easy at first when you're busting dudes' asses in your neighborhood and stuff like that. Now you're on, like, you're playing these dudes from Europe who, these white boys are nice too. Absolutely, you know. So it's like that's what I like to see. I love seeing like the best young players really like, and they're gonna go at it for some years, man, because they're not gonna go anywhere. So now, from Anthony's perspective, he has to figure out a way to get past Luka because he sent him home last year. They beat him like 4-1 in the Western Conference Finals, and Anthony had to beat Kevin Durant and Nikola Jokic to make it to that finals, the Western Conference Finals, and he still got sent home. So it was like, man, like, and now their series is tied 1-1, you know. So it's just cool to see like the best young players. It's like when LeBron and Curry face off now, you know, obviously two all-time greats. If they face off next series, one of them knocks each other out for a ring, you know, and just stuff like that. I really like seeing like those storylines because they really don't know what you're about to go through when you really embark on that journey to play these best dudes from like all over the world, bro. When you're getting paid millions to play people don't really understand how good you really gotta be to get paid $1 million check to play basketball, like for real, bro. And I just had to say that because it's the playoffs and like you're finally seeing like the best players like really go at it like that. And like I said, I like that Timberwolves Lakers one in particular because I like seeing how Luka and Anthony, they're gonna go at it for so long over the next few years. So it's cool to see them be young and go at it, and like that's cool. But like, yeah, like even the last thing I'm gonna say is Edwards got fined $50,000. He said my dick is bigger than yours in the crowd.
You gotta grow up, bro.
Cause it's like you're brick, but that's cool. Cause like that's what got him there. Like he's hooping in his home.
What got him there is talking shit to other players.
And for real, exactly.
Why are we doing this with the like? Okay, I get talking shit to the fans, but
yeah, like
when we get to that, like,
no, that's what I mean though. Like with the players
with
and stuff, but it's like that edge though. Like it's like, man, also that too, man. Like people,
but you gotta keep it basketball.
Like, yeah, it's the fans now. Like
if you doing that,
you're talking
even with
the fans, like that's
even
not
with the fans.
That's not interesting to nobody. So
that
doesn't make you tough. Like
absolutely no, like I get it. Like no, like of course, and you don't never want to throw money away off a dude you're not even gonna see for the rest of your life. Like I get that.
50,000, like
of
bro,
course. Absolutely,
that's a good amount of change in my pocket. I'm just giving away.
Yeah.
That's
a whole salary.
It's just like, man, because most people haven't played basketball in front of a crowd before. So when you're playing in front of 20,000 people,
but here's the
especially
thing,
in Los Angeles,
he's been doing that shit for years. So
for years,
like,
and like, but
so
not
why Why are we doing this? Why are we saying this?
Of course.
That's my whole point of it. Okay, hey, talk your shit to the fans. That's all fine and dandy. Because actually you're making that fan's day. But once it's a fine fucking line in telling the fan my dick is bigger than yours ain't got shit to do with shit. So grow the fuck up.
Like for me,
hell, if I'm Adam Silver, I probably would have taxed your ass even more than fucking 50 grand just for being stupid.
It was like, cause for me, like, cause he was hitting like that hand sign or whatever after he hit that three in Luka's face and stuff like that. And when I say that's what got
all fine and dandy.
No, for sure. Like I understand 100% what you're saying. Like especially with him like being one of the faces of the NBA around Christmas time, Anthony was literally everywhere with the Sprite commercial, with the shoe commercial, with everything right now. And that's the thing. Regardless of everyone knows how he acts, the whole send the video thing, you know, like and he's still extremely popular. And when I say like that's what got him there, I mean like, man, you gotta. He's been going to parks his whole life, and people on the bench, man, and you trash, bro. And he in the crowd, like he's like you have to be able to ball on that type of level like that. Like it's no longer just basketball, like at that state. And of course, there's always gonna be fan stuff like that. I thought he was talking to Luka when he said that originally. He was talking to a fan. I found that out later. But for me, of course, I was just keeping it more so with the competitive aspect. And like when I say that's what got him there, it's like you got to be able to defend yourself, man. When he went to Paris at 20, like bro, like at 22 years old, playing these dudes from all over the world. Like it's like, man, it's deeper than just like. And he's definitely maturing. You can see compared to, when Karl Anthony Towns saying, "Oh, I just wish he would start being more mature, stop talking about Popeyes and fried chicken after the games and stuff like that." And they traded Cat out of here, and now Anthony, he took him to the Western Conference. I mean, of course, Cat was there at the time, but still, we saw who they chose for the centerpiece. And
we knew Cat wasn't gonna be the damn centerpiece.
And Anthony, like, of course, man, to be 23 years old, like he's gonna be there for a real long time. And then I just wanted to say, because I think those are the best two young players in the playoffs right now, Anthony Edwards and Luka Doncic. So it's cool to see them face each other again, because obviously they played each other last year, like I said. But that was it for me though. Again, these playoffs have been great. I rate the opening round a 10 out of 10. We had close games, we had overtimes, we had crazy historic blowouts.
Real generous.
I enjoyed it, man. It was really good to me. That Nuggets and Clippers was good. Like the Houston Rockets, like even them to like come out the way they did. Like I think this first round's been pretty good, especially with
first round's been good. It ain't been a 10 out of 10 because
I've enjoyed it personally.
These fucking blowouts. So that Laker Minnesota blowout. Hey, it's already hard enough staying up for
West Coast
for the West Coast game. Like,
right?
Come on, man. Like if you gonna West Coast, if y'all gonna play these games, I'm gonna need them to be competitive.
For sure. Nah, I get it. You don't want to stay up and watch no blowout. Yeah, man. We saw the Lakers came out. Grizzlies. Game 2. So
50 points.
I guess why you would say they decent, for sure. But like again,
they've been good. Like I said, 10 out of 10. I'm not gonna give it 10 out of 10. But
I enjoyed
like the game. Put it like this: the series that have interest, that have my interest. Yes,
they've been great.
They've been what I've wanted. All the other ones, the ones that I thought that would halfway be decent, yeah, they've been trash.
Halfway been decent. I mean, I feel you. Classic first A seeds, but yeah, like always, when you catch us back, y'all, hopefully the second round would have been started by then, so we can go ahead and react to these semifinals. Give you our picks for our favorite playoff series thus far. Like I said, I think it's been a pretty good opening round. I did enjoy it. The blowouts, I get it. They weren't the best for some viewers, for sure. But I did enjoy at least the comedic value of the blowouts. And again, like I do like seeing like like crushing performance. I like seeing like OKC. It's just like, I mean, that was crazy for that home crowd to witness that. Like that's crazy, bro. For real.
Also, real quick, for next episode, y'all. Everybody got homework to do. Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm waiting on it.
including our viewers and listeners. So, like I said, we're gonna do a little bit of we're gonna start our playoff edition of trivia, but next week is not necessarily going to be a trivia. It's going to be a build your team. So, and again, we're going along with the playoffs. So we in the first round. This is the first round of this so-called trivia, this clutch or choke. So for the first round, it's a build your team. Again, starting 5, 6-man, and your head coach.
Yep.
There are parameters with this. So we're only pulling from the 80s and up. So that's 1. 2, your starting 5 must include a rookie, a lefty, a second rounder, undrafted player,
and a G leaguer. Yeah.
And then lastly, be specific with your players. So if you're choosing Charles Barkley, hey, I'm choosing Charles Barkley, like 96 Barkley with Phoenix, like MVP Barkley, that type deal. So this mitigates everybody I'm going to take 90 rookie Jordan, 91 Jordan. Like, nah. Do your homework. Put together a team, and we'll reconvene next week. That's all I got. I will make sure I put this in on our Twitter, on the Uncommon Commentators Twitter account. We'll make sure we post that so everybody can get involved, have a little fun, see what everybody come up with. But that's all I got.
All right, man. Hey, I'm ready for it. I know Garrett will be for sure. He's a smart guy, a smart hoop head for sure. So
don't get nervous, Garrett.
I'm with it.
Nah,
you know?
Never scared.
I'm with it for sure. Want to thank y'all for joining us on the Uncommon Commentators episode 73, the late night edition of the Uncommon Commentators. Really appreciate y'all. God bless y'all. Enjoy the playoffs. They're gonna be crazy on Friday and Saturday. We'll see which teams go up 3-0, if teams make it 2-1, 2-2, whatever the case may be. But we'll be right here covering the playoffs and the NBA draft coverage as well. You know, it's off season for some of these teams. You know, the lottery's coming up. I think the lottery's normally in May. Maybe early June, maybe late May. So just wait for that to happen with the teams who are rebuilding. So just want to thank y'all again for joining us. And that's it for me, Garrett. Unless you got anything, bro.
Oh, sir. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Thank y'all so much, most definitely. God bless y'all and good night. Enjoy some basketball always.
They give me my theme music.